Bhagavate Sri Aravindaya. Book 2. The Book of the Traveller of the Worlds. Canto 10. The Kingdoms and Godheads of the Little Mind. Page 249. One chance made true warranted all the rest. Attempt, not victory, was the charm of life. An uncertain winner of uncertain stakes. Instinct its dam and the life mind its sire. It ran its race and came in first or last. Yet were its works nor small and vain nor null. It nursed a portion of infinity's strength, and could create the high things its fancy willed. Its passion caught what calm intelligence missed. In sight of impulse laid its leaping grasp. On heaven's high thought had hidden in dazzling mist. Caught glimmers that revealed a lurking sun. It probed the void and found a treasure there. A half intuition purpled in its sense. It threw the lightning's fork and hid the unseen. It saw in the dark and vaguely blinked in the light. Ignorance was its field, the unknown its prize. Of all these powers, the greatest was the last. Arriving late from a far plane of thought, into a packed, irrational world of chance, where all was grossly felt and blindly done. Yet the haphazard seemed the inevitable. Came reason, the squat godhead artisan, to her narrow house upon a ridge in time, adept of clear contrivance and design, a pensive face and close and peering eyes. She took her firm and irremovable seat, the strongest, wisest of the tall like three.
Armed with her lens and measuring rod and probe, she looked upon an object universe and the multitudes that in it live and die, and the body of space and the fleeing soul of time, and took the earth and stars into her hands to try what she could make of these strange things. In her strong, purposeful, laborious mind, inventing her scheme lines of reality and the geometric curves of her time plan, she multiplied her slow half-cuts at truth. Impatient of enigma and the unknown, intolerant of the lawless and the unique, imposing reflection on the march of force, imposing clarity on the unfathomable, she strove to reduce to rules the mystic world. Nothing she knew, but all things hoped to know. In dark inconscient realms, once void of thought, missioned by a supreme intelligence, to throw its ray upon the obscure vast, an imperfect light leading an erring mass, by the power of sense and the idea and word, she ferrets out nature's process, substance, cause. All life to harmonize by thought's control, she with the huge imbroglio struggles still, ignorant of all but her own seeking mind. To save the world from ignorance she came. A sovereign worker through the centuries, observing and remolding all that is. Confident, she took up her stupendous charge.
There the low-bent and mighty figure sits, bowed under the arc lamps of her factory home, amid the clatter and ringing of her tools, a rigorous stare in her creative eyes, coercing the plastic stuff of cosmic mind. She set the hard inventions of her brain in a pattern of eternal fixity, indifferent to the cosmic dump demand, unconscious of too close realities, of the unspoken thought, the voiceless heart. She learns to forge her credos and iron codes, and metal structures to imprison life, and mechanic models of all things that are. For the world seen, she views a world conceived. She spins in stiff but unsubstantial lines. Her gossamer wordwebs of abstract thought, her segment systems of the infinite, her theodicies and cosmogonic charts, and myths by which she explains the inexplicable. At will she spaces in thin air of mind, like maps in the schoolhouse of intellect hung, forcing wide truth into a narrow scheme. Her numberless varying strict philosophies. Out of nature's body of phenomenon, she carves with thought's keen edge in rigid lines, like rails for the world magician's power to run. Her sciences precise and absolute.
On the huge bare walls of human nescience, written round nature's deep dumb hieroglyphs, she pens in clear demotic characters the vast encyclopedia of her thoughts, an algebra of her mathematics science, her numbers and unerring formulas she builds to clinch her summary of things. On all sides runs as if in a cosmic mask, tracing the scriptural verses of her laws, the deodal of her patent arabesques, art of her wisdom, artifice of her lore. This art, this artifice are her only stock. In her high works of pure intelligence, in her withdrawal from the senses trap, there comes no breaking of the walls of mind. There leaps no rending flash of absolute power. There dawns no light of heavenly certitude. A million faces wears her knowledge here, and every face is turbaned with a doubt. All now is questioned, all reduced to naught. Once monumental in their massive craft, her old great mythic writings disappear, and into their place start strict ephemeral signs. This constant change spells progress to her eyes. Her thought is an endless march without a goal. There is no summit on which she can stand and see in a single glance the infinite's whole.
An inconclusive play is reason's toil. Each strong idea can use her as its tool. Accepting every brief, she pleads her case. Open to every thought she cannot know. The eternal advocate seated as judge armors in logic's invulnerable mail. 1,000 combatants for truth's veiled throne, and sits on a high horseback of argument. to tilt forever with a wordy lance in a mock tournament where none can win. Assaying thoughts, values with her rigid tastes, balanced, she sits on wide and empty air, aloof and pure in her impartial poise. Absolute her judgments seem, but none is sure. Time cancels all her verdicts in appeal, although, like sunbeams to our glow-worm mind, her knowledge feigns to fall from a clear heaven. Its rays are a lantern's lustres in the night. She throws a glittering robe on ignorance, but now is lost her ancient sovereign claim to rule mind's high realm in her absolute right, bind thought with logic's forged infallible chain, or see truth nude in a bright abstract haze. A master and slave of stark phenomenon, she travels on the roads of erring sight, or looks upon a set mechanical world constructed for her by her instruments. A bullock yoked in the cart of proven fact, she drags huge knowledge bales through matter's dust to reach utility's immense bazaar. Apprentice she has grown to her old drudge, and aided sense is her seeking's arbiter. This now she uses as the assayer's stone.
As if she knew not facts or husk of truth. The husk she keeps, the kernel throws aside. An ancient wisdom fades into the past. The age's faith becomes an idle tale. God passes out of the awakened thought. An old discarded dream needed no more. Only she seeks mechanic nature's keys, interpreting stone laws inevitable. She digs into matter's hard concealing soil to unearth the processes of all things done. A loaded, huge, self-worked machine appears. To her eyes, eager and admiring stare, an intricate and meaningless engineering of ordered, faithful and unfailing chance, ingenious and meticulous and minute. Its brute unconscious, accurate device unrolls an unerring march, maps a sure road. It plans without thinking, acts without a will. A million purposes serves with purpose none, and builds a rational world without a mind. It has no mover, no maker, no idea. Its vast self-action toils without a cause. A lifeless energy irresistibly driven, death's head on the body of necessity, engenders life and fathers consciousness, then wonders why all was and whence it came. Our thoughts are parts of the immense machine, our ponderings but a freak of matter's law. The mystic's lore was a fancy or a blind. Of soul or spirit we have now no need. Matter is the admirable reality, the pattern unescapable miracle, the hard truth of things, simple, eternal soul.
A suicidal, rash expenditure, creating the world by a mystery of self-loss, has poured its scattered works on empty space. Late shall the self-disintegrating force contract the immense expansion it has made, Then ends this mighty and unmeaning toil. The void is left bare, vacant as before. Thus vindicated, crowned, the grand new thought explained the world and mastered all its laws, touched the dumb roots, woke veiled tremendous powers. It bound to service the unconscious jinns that sleep unused in matter's ignorant trance.
All was precise, rigid, indubitable, but when on matter's rock of ages based, a whole stood up firm and clear-cut and safe, all staggered back into a sea of doubt. This solid scheme melted in endless flux. She had met the formless power, inventor of forms. Suddenly she stumbled upon things unseen. A lightning from the undiscovered truth startled her eyes with its perplexing glare and dug a gulf between the real and known, till all her knowledge seemed an ignorance. Once more the world was made a wonder web, a magic's process in a magical space, an unintelligible miracle's depths, whose source is lost in the ineffable. Once more we face the blank unknowable. In a crash of values, in a huge doom crack, in the sputter and scatter of her breaking work, she lost a clear, conserved, constructed world.
A quantum dance remained a sprawl of chance, in energy's stupendous tripping whirl. A ceaseless motion in the unbounded void, invented forms without a thought or aim. Necessity and cause were shapeless ghosts. Matter was an incident in being's flow. Law but a clockwork habit of blind force. Ideals, ethics, systems had no base. And soon collapsed or without sanction lived. All grew a chaos, heave and clash and strife. Ideas varying and fears leaped upon life. A hard compression held down anarchy, and liberty was only a phantom's name. Creation and destruction waltzed in hand, on the bosom of a torn, a quaking earth, all reel into a whirl of Kali's dance. Thus tumbled, sinking, sprawling in the void, clutching for props, a soil on which to stand. She only saw a thin atomic vase, the rare point, sparse, substratum universe, on which floats a solid world's phenomenal face.
Alone a process of events was there, and nature's plastic and protean change, and strong by death to slay or to create. The riven invisible atom's omnipotent force. One chance remained that here might be a power to liberate man from the old inadequate means, and leave him sovereign of the earthly scene. For reason then might grasp the original force, to drive her car upon the roads of time. All then might serve the need of the thinking race. An absolute state found orders absolute. To a standardized perfection cut all things. In society build a just exact machine. Then science and reason, careless of the soul, could iron out a tranquil uniform world. Aeonic seekings glut with outward truths, and a single pattern thinking force on mind, inflicting matter's logic on spirit streams, a reasonable animal make of man and symmetrical fabric of his life.
This would be nature speak on an obscure globe, the grand result of the long ages toil, yet evolution crowned, her mission done.
So might it be if the spirit fell asleep, man then might rest content and live in peace. Master of nature, who once her bondslave worked, the world's disorder hardening into law. If life's dire heart arose not in revolt, if God within could find no greater plan, but many-visaged is the cosmic soul, a touch can alter the fixed front of fate.
A sudden turn can come, a road appear. A greater mind may see a greater truth, or we may find, when all the rest has failed, hid in ourselves the key of perfect change, ascending from the soil where creep our days. Earth's consciousness may marry with the sun, our mortal life ride on the spirit's wings, our finite thoughts commune with the infinite.
In the bright kingdoms of the rising sun, all is a birth into a power of light. All here deformed guards there its happy shape. Here all is mixed and marred, there pure and whole. Yet each is a passing step, a moment's phase.
Awake to a greater truth beyond her acts, the mediatrix sat and saw her works, and felt the marvel in them and the force, but knew the power behind the face of time. She did the task, obeyed the knowledge given. Her deep heart yawned towards great ideal things, and from the light looked out to a wider light. A brilliant hedge drawn round her narrowed to her power. Faithful to her limited sphere she toiled, but knew its highest, widest seeing was a half search, its mightiest acts a passage or a stage.
For not by reason was creation made, and not by reason can the truth be seen, which through the veils of thought, the screens of sense, hardly the spirit's vision can descry. Dimmed by the imperfection of its means, the little mind is tied to little things. Its sense is but the spirit's outward touch, half waked in a world of dark inconscience. It feels out for its beings and its forms, like one left fumbling in the ignorant night. In the small mold of infant mind and sense, desire is a child heart's cry, crying for bliss. Our reason only a toy's artificer, a rule maker in a strange stumbling game.
But she had dwarf aids, knew whose confident sight a bounded prospect took for the far goal. The world she has made is an interim report of a traveller towards the half-found truth in things, moving twixt nations and nations. For nothing is known while aught remains concealed. The truth is known only when all is seen. Attracted by the all that is the one, she yearns towards a higher light than hers. Hid by her cults and creeds, she has glimpsed God's face. She knows she has but found a form, a robe, but ever she hopes to see him in her heart and feel the body of his reality.
As yet, a mask is there and not a brow. Although sometimes two hidden eyes appear, reason cannot tear off that glimmering mask. Her efforts only make it glimmer more. In package she ties up the indivisible.
Finding her hands too small to hold was truth. She breaks up knowledge into alien parts, or peers through cloud rack for a vanished sun. She sees, not understanding what she has seen, through the locked visages of finite things, the myriad aspects of infinity.
One day the face must burn out through the mask. Our ignorance is wisdom's chrysalis, our error whets new knowledge on its way. Its darkness is a blackened note of light. Thought dances hand in hand with nescience on the grey road that winds towards the sun.
even while her fingers fumble at the knots which bind them to the strange companionship. Into the moments of their married strife sometimes break flashes of the enlightening fire. Even now, great thoughts are here that walk alone. Armed, they have come with the infallible word. In an investiture of initiative light, that is a sanction from the eyes of God, announcers of a distant truth they flame, arriving from the rim of eternity.
A fire shall come out of the infinitudes, a greater Narcissus shall regard the world, crossing out of some far omniscience on lustrous seas from the still rapt alone, to illumine the deep art of the self and things, a timeless knowledge it shall bring to mind, its aim to life, to ignorance its close.
Above, in a high breathless stratosphere, overshadowing the dwarfish trinity, lived aspirants to a limitless beyond, captives of space, walled by the limiting heavens in the unceasing circuit of the hours, yearning for the straight paths of eternity, and from their high station looked down on this world, two sun-gazed daemons, witnessing all that is.
A power to uplift the laggard world, imperious rode a huge high-winged life thought, unwont to tread the firm unchanging soil, accustomed to a blue infinity. It planned in sunlit sky and starlit air. It saw afar the unreached immortals' home, and heard afar the voices of the gods, iconoclast and shatterer of time's forts, overleaping limit and exceeding norm. It lit the thoughts in that glow through the centuries and moved to acts of superhuman force.
As far as its self-winged airplanes could fly, visiting the future in great brilliant raids, it reconnoitered vistas of dream fate, apt to conceive, unable to attain. It drew its concepts, maps, and vision plans, too large for the architecture of mortal space, beyond in wideness where no footing is, an imagist of bodiless ideas, impassive to the cry of life and sense. A pure thought mind surveyed the cosmic act, archangel of a wide transcending realm. It saw the world from solitary heights, luminous in a remote and empty air. End of Canto 10. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Arvindaya.
श्री अरविंद सबक्ति प्रणाम श्री अरविंद सबक्ति प्रणाम श्री अरविंद सबक्ति प्रणाम श्री अरविंद